Hey everybody, this is Kevin McFarland from The Art of Emergency Nursing, and you're listening to 30 Days to Being a Badass ER Nurse. In the next 30 days, I'm going to give you some quick tips and tricks to help you be a better ER nurse. And of course, as always, it's not just me you're going to hear from. I've recruited some of my friends to give you some of their tips and tricks so they can share their knowledge as well. So don't forget to subscribe so that you catch all the episodes. And if you find one of these tips and tricks are really helpful, give me a shout out on social media and share it with your friends. Let's get into today's tip. Welcome to day 25 of the 30-day podcast challenge, 30 days to being a hip, cool, neato nurse. I know what you're thinking. That's not the typical intro that I use. But what I know is that the person who called and left me this voicemail happens to listen to this podcast in the car with her kids. So I want to make sure that the kids can listen to the podcast. So today you're going to learn to be a hip, neato, cool, what's another word? Awesome nurse. That's what you're going to do today. You're going to learn how to be an awesome nurse. Now, let's get to the voicemail with my friend Tabitha.
Hey, Kevin, it's Tabitha here in San Antonio. Hey, I'm digging the podcast. I love the format, the 30 Days of Becoming a Badass ED Nurse. Love that. Think about this for a minute. And what I would tell people, and as an educator, what I try to tell people is, think about a Venn diagram. Think about passion. Think about purpose. Okay, two circles and how they overlap, and that little place in the middle of passion and purpose. As a nurse, that's where we need to live, that place in the middle. Passion, think about it, to speak in analogies, in a relationship, passion, it's exciting, it's fun, the newness of a relationship, the newness of nursing, it's fun, it's exciting, it's so Grey's Anatomy, I'm wearing scrubs, I'm going to work, I'm an ED nurse, it's so sexy, it's fun. And then after a few months, it gets old, you get tired, you wear out, the sexiness is over. After your first few codes, the first time you see a kid die, it's hard. The passion wears away, just like in a relationship. Morning breath gets old, right? But then you switch over to purpose. Purpose, on the other hand, is hard. I mean, when you find your purpose in life or in a relationship, like raising kids. Raising kids is hard. The purpose in a marriage, maybe you have a project together, building your empire, financial empire, that putting yourselves on a budget. That's hard. But it's meaningful, right? There's deep-rooted meaning and purpose. You have to, lock yourselves inside the house on some weekends and say no to partying because there's purpose when you're going to school and you're getting your degree. There's purpose there. And the same thing in ED nursing. You're studying for your boards. You're studying those protocols. There's purpose there because there's deep-rooted meaning in what you're doing. So just like in a marriage, you spice up things, you go on, you have date nights to remember the passion, but ultimately what keeps you rooted in your relationship is your purpose, right? Same thing with ED nursing is learning to live in that middle place and remembering, more tidbits is that tomorrow, nursing wouldn't be the same without each person in it, without what each nurse brings to the fight. Tomorrow wouldn't be the same without you. But all this to say, it's just, when people think that they're going to quit and people think that they're going to get out of nursing, to remember, find something to spark their passion and to remember their purpose because everybody brings something valuable to the table when it comes to nursing. Nursing is a team sport. Anyway, fighting the good fight. Love the podcast. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Tabitha, for sharing that information about passion and purpose. Having a purpose as an emergency department is critical. It's the only thing that's going to keep you getting up and going to work after those hard 12-hour shifts or those hard 3-in-a-rows. So make sure that you find that purpose and then you look to re-spark that passion with those one-of patients that you see that end up touching your heart. And that's what this podcast is all about. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And kids, I know you're listening, so listen to your mom. She's always right. Brush your teeth, go to bed early, and no fighting in the car, or I'm going to turn this thing around. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Have a great shift.
Thanks for listening to the Art of Emergency Nursing podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Facebook.